You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 227 of East Centralia's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by our producer slash guest host slash video producer, Zach Burcham. On my left is my forever co-host with about a 73% attendance rating, and it's been pretty good lately, Mr. Dakota Davis. What are we doing today?
Today's episode features our special guest, first-time guest in all of the time of Boss Hog of Liberty.
First time in studio. There's an asterisk.
Even though we've known him for the whole time that the Boss Hog of Liberty has been around. Mr. Chris Gault. Chris is very active in the Libertarian Party, but he's also very knowledgeable whenever it comes to the tech industry and technology, and that's a big topic that we are going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the commissioners and the new maps for the Henry County, I guess, how would you say that? Elected official maps?
They're redistricting the local. We've been covering ad nauseum.
Yeah, we covered like all the state level and federal level. So.
And federal districts for Senate and representatives.
We have news on this show that's not been covered in the Courier Times yet with that.
Yes.
And so that's cool. That's going to be at the very front of the show. Then we're going to talk about the new changing landscape of technology and how radically it's going to be changing in the next coming years, especially with the big news today with Facebook. And then Zach Burcham has his own racing segment today. He's going to be talking to us about the U.S. Grand Prix. I
found out I had a segment when the show notes came out. I was like, oh, look, my name's in the show notes.
I actually created the chat ahead of time this week, and I did tell Zach, I warned him in there if he didn't review it, that's on Zach. But I did mention that this is going to be the Zach segment.
I just noticed that Jeremiah put some stupid little blurb about Halloween in there. Jeremiah.
I did.
Changing the show notes, right?
I did.
He's super excited. They're done. Doesn't even mention it. Make sure you stick around to the end. Jeremiah's going to talk about Halloween.
It's going to be our fun portion of the show. Everything else is going to be horrible bullshit that we're going to suffer through together. But no, we're going to have fun with Halloween.
Thanks, Riddle.
He's not here. I have to do it for him. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. Gault, are you a listener? Do you listen to the show every week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At least 80%.
I mean, the episode introduction is for people like you.
Really?
It is. So I feel like it twists you a little bit because we want to make you think as individuals, as if we can make an individual do anything.
Don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. We want to make you think as an individual. We're going to force you
I see what you did
into
there.
thinking our way. I've never shared that with the audience before. It's always been just a subtle thing, and I wonder if people notice. And I know you're a listener every week.
Subliminal authoritarianism.
That's the joke.
Non-voluntary.
I love it.
So much of what we do is about human behavior. I knew that if I brought a bucket of candy, Dakota's going to eat half the candy tonight.
He's already started.
In July, I bought a pie at the county fair, and Dakota ate half the damn pie.
$80.
What kind of pie?
Peanut butter pie. It was a charity pie auction. I bought the pie. It was one of the greatest things that happened all year, but also the saddest.
I'm gonna need water with all this candy.
I bought this. What is not this? This is the leftover candy from Summit Lake this weekend.
I'll take some of that.
Whatever you don't eat is going to go to the children.
I've been stealing candy from my kids all week.
I paid $80 for a pie. Riddle shows up in July. I said, be careful with the pie. It's in the fridge. It's going to be for Patreon. He immediately opens the fridge up and tries to find room for his leftover chicken that he had from dinner and drops the pie right on the floor.
No.
Yeah, of course, I know you listened to that episode. But
How much?
And then we scraped it back up and Dakota ate the rest of the pie.
Did you say how much you paid for the pie?
It was about $80.
You ate it off the floor?
It was back in the pan when he ate it. I mean, it was a premium pie.
It had a lid on it.
Couldn't let
like
it go
a
to
plastic
waste.
lid. So basically, it was just flipped.
Okay,
It was like peanut butter upside down pie.
Best pie you ever had?
It was really good. Yeah.
I had some. I had some too. It was excellent.
I think even Christy had some. So
I had half of it here that night. Then Jeremiah took it back to his house, and that weekend
at the pie
was the Weird Libertarians
pool
pool
party.
party. And then I ate about a quarter of it there.
So you ate
He ate
80% of the pie by
majority of
yourself.
the pie.
I walked into the pool
I
party
can't
late,
control
and Jeremiah had to go rip it out of
It's hard.
Dakota's hands and be like, "Save some for Zach."
Because you had been on vacation, you missed
Yeah,
it.
I missed it.
Unfortunately, it was the week you were gone.
I drove 755 miles or something like that to get to the pool party.
I will note that folks is saying in the chat saying that there may be a battery dying. Audio is cutting in and out. So if you're having trouble listening in the live stream, listen. The podcast will be available. You can catch it there. We're going to keep going. We're not going to stop and restart 3 times today. We just did a Patreon.
We did.
It was a little different Patreon. Of course, we tried hot stuff, as we always do.
Yeah, we had some good and evil pickles. They were really good. I enjoyed them. They were sweet and spicy.
Don't tell them your review. They need to pay for that.
That's
Premium content.
That's true.
And then we got into the goat yoga thing, which I think is a topic that was way overdue. We got into the my abuse of Dakota for censoring me on my own damn show, but we got that worked into. If you're interested, bosshogofliberty.com. Yeah, find the Patreon section, join up, sign up at any level, you get the premium content. But if you're at $50 or more a month, you get recognized in every show.
That's right. Those folks. Christy Avery from all the way in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
My favorite
we
person.
love Christy. Mr. Jonathan Phillips, our favorite car dealer in all of the continental United States, as we've said.
Man, he sold Dakota 2 cars. He sold me a GMC and a Chevrolet. And
Recently sold my in-laws a car.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Anthony Meyer, the truck driver that's helping keep the world turning right now. And, of course, Fiddler's Green Cigar Company, Mr. Chris Lamb here in Newcastle, Indiana.
Zach buys a car every 2 decades. So at some point, before John retires, he's going to sell Zach something
He
too.
might have been in high school last time I bought a car.
It's very uncommon. Very uncommon. And of course, there's a link in the on the website and on the in the Facebook chat right now for our Teep Chip store. You can get your Boss Hog mug. You can get your T-shirt. You can get your hoodie. It's fall camping season. It's campfire season, bonfire season. When it's not raining, you need to get yourself a hoodie and
I have one of those hoodies. It's very premium. It feels like cashmere, but it's not. It's a ripoff for the cashmere people because we have a superior product, but it's half the price. So go get one.
And you can get your mask. I had to wear my mask again today. I went in a Henry County government building, and needed to wear my mask.
Yeah,
Well,
if
I
you're
can
going to
buy
be a guest on the show, the only advice I got before coming here was wear a sweater. So we'll get one of those sweaters from the shop. Maybe you can get on the show.
I mean, I cranked it all the way up to 65 degrees. It was 61 degrees in here this morning, and I fired up the Nest. I used our Google product to remotely turn up the studio heat, and it's adequate in here.
Yeah, Apple can't do that.
It's Apple's never.
I've been working from home this week, and the thermostat is 4 feet from where I sit. I adjust it with my phone. I don't do that.
He stands up.
No, I can just look at it and watch it change as I punch it in on my phone. It's easier to change the temperature on my phone.
I talk to it.
I can do that. I can't talk to the thermostat. I could talk to my like Google display and do it, but I didn't.
Hey Google, set the temperature to 62 degrees.
Your phone just popped up.
I know. I just turned everybody's temperatures down at their houses. That's the greatest thing ever. I love doing that.
It's so great.
It's awesome.
My
It's
phone
easy,
doesn't
too.
Listen to me.
It doesn't have to repeat what you said and then repeat what it's doing and then not do it.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm
what's
not
her name?
Sometimes I
Siri.
get in arguments with it, man. It's not always perfect. Google, wake me up at 7:30 in the morning. Why do you need eggs? It's just, you never know. Well, it's not. You need to verify your voice before I can add yogurt to your shopping list. It's a love-hate relationship, but sometimes it works. 80%.
Listen, man,
of the
they have
time.
your security in mind.
Yes. God forbid.
Well, with
accidentally
more
buy
of your
something we
data
didn't.
given to them, I'm sure they can do better.
So let's talk about gerrymandering in Henry County.
I honestly wouldn't call it gerrymandering. Every time we reappropriate the number
Listen.
of people, Hey, you're Mr. Clickbait. I know you.
Remember the conversation that me and Jesse had with you last week about the Courier Times needing to do more clickbait headlines? That's what we're doing when we're saying that there's gerrymandering in Henry County.
Chris, your father's in the chat, and he says, my home is talking back thanks to your comments. I got him. I got one. So, yeah, the county commissioners last night voted on, I guess it was a narrative, because I tried to get more information. There's a YouTube video. They now live stream all the meetings. So I listened to the county commissioners meeting on 100 because it's still incredibly quiet. They do the best they can. It's decent. It's listenable, but I had to literally, normally my Roku TV is set to like 30, and that's very reasonable. I set it to 100 and I had to turn off everything else in the house and everybody had to be quiet. The dogs had to stop wrestling. There couldn't be any fans running and I could just barely hear what was going on in the meeting. But the best I can tell is that you, Dakota Davis, are going to be moving from the representation of Susan Hoon on the Henry County Council, Boss Hog alum, to Kenan Gray's district, District 1, Boss Hog alum, whether he likes it or not. He's been on the show. He's an alum. We claim him forever. So you're going to be getting a new county council person in the new maps. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool. This is great. Awesome. I'm going to look at it. We're going to give it the same treatment we have for everything else. I emailed Commissioner Plummer this morning. I said, hey, you guys talked about this. Can I get a copy of the maps? She says, okay, fine. I'll send it to the voter registration office. And the voter registration office says, yes, would be happy to, probably in January. Because they don't really have them made. Oh. It's like a narrative. And then they weren't able to or didn't want to, couldn't put it in writing for me as to what exactly they voted on because they didn't have a copy of the minutes that they had approved or the ordinance they'd approved at the meeting the night before, and I could only listen at half audio because that's the way it came across, so I don't really know. But I got that you are going to be now in Kenan Gray's district, I think, and then in January we'll have an actual map.
Okay.
But that's as far as we got. That's as far as we got with the investigative journalism during a business day.
But before... Kenan Gray's district stopped
it was like half of Henry Township.
Yeah.
I think what happened is that Henry Township didn't grow as much, or there are more people in Henry Township in the county. Basically, they had to reallocate. So the precincts in Henry Township, basically, they got bigger. So now Spiceland, that western side of Henry, now also encompasses that. So maybe Middletown grew, maybe Knightstown grew some, and Henry didn't, or Newcastle didn't as much. So it's a little bit more sporadic or spread out.
For those of you, if you're a new listener, or if you're Chris Gault, Kenan Gray, the guy that we're talking about, he's the one that Jeremiah ran against when he got elected.
Oh, okay.
I mean, honestly, Kenan ran against me.
Yeah.
I was in the race first.
How long ago was that?
2018.
2018. And I just got my Jeremiah Morrell t-shirt last year.
Well, I mean, if you'd come...
How did that happen?
I wear it all the time. It was at the state convention at the silent auction.
If you came and did the door knocking like Paul Copeland was, you would have had one day one.
Yeah. I didn't help on your campaign.
That's okay.
I was gone.
You were off trying to re-elect Sassy Massey, right?
No.
What were you doing?
In 2018, I was not doing any politics, actually. It was my break time. Yeah, you work really hard in this area, and you get burnt out.
You get burnt out really fast.
And so you got to take some breaks.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm back now, though. I don't think I was on a We Are Libertarians podcast for years.
I mean, I've not been on a mothership episode in a long time. I'm not zooming in. I believe I need in-person, in-studio treatment.
Yeah.
And until Spangle's willing to let me come back into his home and do
his COVID restrictions are ridiculous.
Listen, we've been in studio. We've been answering the bell consistently through almost 2020. 2021. We're glad you're here. You were here, Chris.
He won't even let vaccinated people come.
In Ohio. You did an Ohio episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was just a Patreon. It wasn't a real episode.
I believe we released it to everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in the main feed.
It was like 3 minutes long.
It felt longer.
Yeah.
It's because
I always say too.
For some reason, I couldn't keep you focused.
Yeah, and then I was here for the Walpole Party episode, so I was on that for a minute too, but everybody was on there, so.
I don't know that episode made the BHOL feed. I think that made the big Wall Master feed.
Gotcha.
But
was that the first Master feed episode in this studio?
Yes. Yeah.
That's special.
I think it also made our Patreon feed.
Yeah, maybe it likely did. Plausibly. So you've developed a friendship with our boy Zach over here.
Oh yeah,
we're going to be getting into the motorsports world.
We're going to spend every 4th of July together now.
Unless they change the schedule.
I was going to say you have a lot more faith in date equity than I do.
I don't count anything till like about now. So I'm like, okay, I know what my schedule might be, and we have to get spots.
Yeah, at least 2 years in a row.
All right, let's talk about Facebook. Facebook today made an announcement that they're changing their name to Meta. Whatever. What was I think? Crap. What was
Are you a gamer?
Sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Meta in gaming. Meta means it's like the what you have to do to be the best player in the game.
Yeah.
The meta.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're going for here. I feel like. Facebook is the meta of social media, right? So that's how I feel like they're kind of branding themselves as, once we have our government regulations and our control over everything, we're the meta. You can't touch us.
Well, who was I thinking of? Where it's like something. Is it Meta World Peace?
Meta World Peace. Yeah. Ron Artest.
Ron Artest.
Yes, Ron Artest. That's who I was thinking of. Couldn't remember his name. Yeah, that's who I kept thinking of.
I can never forget Ron Artest because that was the Pacers Pistons brawl.
Yeah,
he was the first basketball player ever see go over the stands and punch a fan in the face.
big Netflix documentary on that this year.
But Zuckerberg says that they're going to focus on VR and augmented reality, virtual reality, augmented reality, both, and they're going to try to distance themselves as Meta Incorporated from the brand of Facebook. So they're basically they're going to be coming up with the metaverse, as it's called. And they're working with Microsoft and Spatial, who is another video game developer. And they're going to be all three working on the metaverse together, which is a completely different. If I read this correctly, and I know that you shared something about this a couple of months ago.
You being Chris.
Yeah. Chris Gault shared something about this a couple of months ago in the group chat before you left.
Before he rage quit for the 6th time.
And it was basically saying that metaverse is not just any kind of app location that you can get on your phone or you put on your laptop or something. It is a completely different system of computing. It will be changing the way that our phones and laptops and tablets work.
And a lot. That's why they're talking about focusing on VR and AR. But they say that because that's what regular people can understand. They're going to be focusing on AI and quantum computing and things like that. But when I say those words, what does that mean to you, Jer?
That means they're going to take the Mexicans' jobs away. AI. We don't need our migrant workers anymore. We're not going to have.
We won't need any workers anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's needs some help though, right? They're all hiring right now.
So as I look at this from 10,000 feet, I remember Netflix and their announcement that they were going to rebrand their DVD service as Quickster. So they were going to keep Netflix was going to be the streaming only service, and the DVD service, which was their base core product, was going to be now called Quickster.
Dakota, do you remember that when Netflix sent you DVDs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to get.
I mean, there was a group of people that have no idea that Netflix at one point when they started mailed you DVDs.
I used to be really good. I was a single man, and I used to be really good at getting a DVD on a Saturday, hurrying up, watching the movie, and then getting it back to the post office by 5 o'clock so I could squeeze one out of the system real fast.
Wow.
To just turn them if I was trying to watch a series. Because you couldn't stream. We didn't have the library for streaming was crap. So if you were watching a TV show or a TV series that sent you a disc and it had 4 episodes of a show, and you'd watch them and then get it in the mail, and then 2 days later you get another one.
A TV series, that makes more sense. The only time that we ever used, of course, whenever Netflix did that, I was still living with my parents because I was at school. but the only time we ever used Netflix for DVDs was whenever Blockbuster and Family Video didn't have the DVD. So then we would look it up, and then we would look it up and be like, Netflix has it. And then my mom or dad would call Family Video and Blockbuster and be like, hey, are you going to be getting this DVD in the next week? And they're like, no, we're not buying it. So then we would order for it from Netflix. Yeah. It was a very complicated system.
Ordering, having your queue right was a big deal.
See, I don't see this like Quickster.
But so at the time I looked at it, and everybody looked at it and said, what the hell are you doing? And it was an idea that was like 2 years ahead of its time was the problem. Netflix did it too early because eventually the product that automatically shifted and user taste switched to the streaming platform, and everybody wanted the streaming, and the stuff they wanted was on the streaming platform. And what was the Quickster side, it died off anyway. But they were basically trying to create two separate unique brands for the different products, and the consumers revolted. In the last 2 to 3 years, Facebook has gotten this horrific image in the eyes of consumers, saying that you're stealing my data, you're censoring my content, it's not going right. And now people are like, they're laughing at it, saying you're just trying to rename yourself so that we aren't mad at you anymore.
I see it more like Google. That was a couple of years ahead of the game here on this one. Alphabet. Right. They didn't rebrand. It's still google.com, and it'll probably forever be facebook.com because that's where people go. It won't become meta.com, but the company that owns Facebook will be called Meta. And it's the same with Alphabet. They're expanding into so many more things than social media. They're taking over the world. These tech companies are taking over the world. And they're going to have their hands in every industry.
How long have you been on their payroll, Gault?
Another thing with Meta that I was thinking of gaming when you said Meta, but Danny in the comments mentioned metadata. So when you take a picture, it knows exactly where you were, what time it was taken, and
et cetera, et cetera.
that fits with the Facebook brand pretty well. It's they don't just want the memes. Like if you've seen Facebook Break before, they have your memes labeled by what's in them with an automated AI algorithm that tells them this is likely a picture of a bee or this is likely a picture of this, and without ever any actual person ever looking at it or you typing that in, that's the metadata they're collecting.
We've been building that every
that
time I have to
better.
find all the bicycles in a picture to two-thinner authenticate.
Google Photos, the best thing ever made. I can go on my Google Photos right now, type in mac and cheese. It shows me all the pictures of my cats.
Will you please do it and pull up all of your pictures of hamburgers?
So what was weird to me about all this is like digging into it more about like because they just, in the very first, if you sign up for Patreon, you get show notes ahead of time. There's a couple of links in this section. The first link is just the news story about the name change. In that news story, they just mention the metaverse, like you should know what it is. Like it's just, they're going to be focusing on building the metaverse, and it's like, okay.
Context clues tell you that it's beyond your understanding.
Yeah. I remembered Gault sending an article, and I read about it. I'm like, this is more than I know. Like this is far and above my scope of knowledge whenever it comes to computers and AI. And I looked it up to see like if there were other companies involved. Sure enough, Microsoft and Spatial are also involved. And in the second link in your show notes, if you go to that, then there's a bunch of pictures of the things that they're developing, and they're super weird.
Like what?
They don't look right at all. Like the boardrooms, the fake boardrooms, where so you and all your coworker avatars show up in the fake boardroom, and then there's
I'm picturing dogs playing poker.
I'm picturing the Nintendo Miiverse. Where all your little avatar.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's
that's probably
exactly
the closest
what they
thing.
look like.
Because when you log in on a Nintendo Wii, it would show this like big open area, and there'd be all these avatars there, and everybody designs their own avatars. And I'm assuming that they're not making them up. Like you're seeing people's avatars you don't even know, or you might have played with online at some point. But yeah, they're all just standing around like fake talking to each other.
So it would have all of us. If it's the four of us, and then Spangle is our boss, the four of us would be in the boardroom.
Gault just
we
quit.
We would have these little video game character bodies with pictures of our faces on as the heads, and then Spangle is running the meeting, and he is on a virtual television screen as his actual person in Zoom running the meeting.
Somebody is screaming this in their car right now, so I'm going to say it. Are you aware of Microsoft Bob? Do you remember Microsoft Bob? It's literally as you were born, it was a product.
I don't think anyone's
Gault,
in their
do you have
car screaming, Microsoft Bob, Microsoft Bob.
Yeah, no, I picture them. They nearly hit a bridge, and it's little Johnny Johnson driving across Iowa going, "It's Microsoft Bob." Zach, do you have any idea what Microsoft Bob was?
The first thing that came to mind for me was Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers movies when he's on the TV and he's petting his cat, making the demand for $1 billion, whatever.
I've pulled it up here on the images. Microsoft Bob was an operating system that sat on top of Windows 95. And it was literally like, it was like a boardroom. It looked like a desk or whatever. And you moved room to room and you clicked on, if you wanted to write an email, you would click on your mail. And if you wanted a calendar, you clicked on the calendar. But it was like a picture deal. Do you see this?
I'm trying to think if I skip.
I see it.
If I skip,
I don't understand
Windows
why it was a
95.
thing.
You guys were old enough to remember a time before computers.
Yes.
See,
get on my knee, Chris. Let me tell you.
I was a kid when we got like an original Nintendo.
Okay, so let's go a little later. Let's go with your first smartphone. Do you remember the resolution on the screen on your first smartphone?
Horrible.
You know what, though? The camera was faster than my current camera. But yeah.
It was terrible, right?
I had a BlackBerry, yeah.
It was terrible. The screen was probably that big, and it was blurry. You couldn't read anything on it. Colors were off. Dakota's over here talking about these avatars and how they're cartoons or, they're just pictures, that we have to think in 20 years, the progress we're going to have from computers, those won't be avatars anymore. They will be you.
Yeah.
They will be photorealistic. You will feel like you're in that room. Just like computers blew up and changed the world, quantum computers will do the exact same thing.
And what happens when I feel like it's better to be in the metaverse than what it is to be in the universe?
Have you seen Ready Player One?
At that point, will I not have to carry 3 cell phones on the weekends?
That is all of society in Ready Player One. They like living in the virtual reality more than their own reality. We are heading to that. People are already like that. People aren't happy unless they're on Facebook all day at home and they don't do anything. And they're happier just sitting there scrolling through social media. And that's before it's even engaging and interactive and real feeling real. And
that's even happened with like games like D&D, and there's some other games where people have like not come out of their apartments for like months on end and then just find them dead because they had no interest in living in the real world. Their whole life was invested in it.
We're going to have serious disassociation problems in the future with that. Like, I don't know if people will even know who they are anymore. A lot of people, we're going to have mental health facilities just for people addicted to virtual reality.
Is the solution to that what China's doing?
Ban it.
Yeah.
They're limiting kids to 2 hours a week? 3.
Did banning it stop weed or abortion?
When China bans something, though, I think China gets it done a little more efficiently than we do here. Yeah. Theirs was for kids.
Try having 2 kids in China, Gault. They've done a really good job of banning that.
There are advantages to like
total authoritarians.
to that level.
You'll have literal mafia style kingpins in virtual reality that run and make money and abuse people. It's going to be a crazy future.
Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption Online or Grand Theft Auto Online?
Yeah.
So there is the ability to form clans, and people make real legitimate life money by doing things with their clan.
Yeah.
Their gang.
They call them gangs, actually.
And they actually, in Grand Theft Auto, it's called a clan in Red Dead.
Yep.
But anyway.
A posse. No, that's what it's called in Red Dead. It's called a posse.
A clan is Modern Warfare.
Yeah. Dale is literally one of those. He wears the Peaky Blinders suit in GTA, and he literally takes people's money and kills them and tells them what to do all the time, and people follow him. He has a whole horde of people following him. He's literally a mob boss in a video game.
That's
what
Dale
is.
I'm looking forward to winter where I can play Red Dead Redemption again.
It's been
2 years.
There is a certain clan or posse in Red Dead Redemption Online, where if you have been targeted by a griefer who is just like, every time you log on, it seems like every time you get into this server, they just attack you. You submit their username, pay real money to this posse, and they will assure
They'll go work
you
this guy over.
they will
you're paying
antagonize him or her, I guess, so hard that they guarantee that they will leave the server for good.
Here's a statistic, because you said him or her. I want to know statistically of gaming bullies. I bet that the percentage of males to females is not remotely close to equal.
Listen, man, I was playing Red Dead Online one time, and there was a woman, and so me and her start playing together. But like, I can't wear a headset because our bedroom is so close to Jackson's, I can't talk to people. But so she would like say things to me over the headset, like, "Hey, let's go over here," or like, "It looks like there's a red dot on the map over here," which means there's a threat. There's a griefer running around. And so I'd be like, okay. And then I just like wave or like nod with my avatar, and we would go do it. And she was freaking really good. Okay. She was better than I was.
I'm not saying that she's not playing. I'm just saying of people that are like
the
thugs,
ratio.
that are like thugging around in video games.
Oh,
like the mob boss, the mobs.
And some of your listeners might be like, who cares? It's a video game. Let them do what they want. But this stuff bleeds into real life. Like if you gave them the name and that guy didn't leave after they promised you he would leave, they'll start doxing him. They'll go find his real picture. They'll go find his real name, his address, send him letters, send him packages that are scary. They'll share his private information somewhere so he gets spam calls. They'll
Start
log his
sending
IP address.
Right-wing
and,
fundraising texts.
Ask James Neese about the stuff he does to people online. It sometimes it borders criminal activity. Not James, but just people in general. You know what I mean?
Character assassination at 7:59 p.m.
He's not listening anyway.
Well, he'll find out.
He's playing Paladins.
it's the name of the posse I was thinking of is called the Reaper Lords.
Mm.
And these guys, they set up their own websites. You apply to be a member of the Reaper Lords, and there's an actual hierarchical organization that you work your way through, just like the real life, like mafia, where you start out, you're just like a street thug, where you're going around playing the video game, but all you're doing while you're playing the video game is trying to make cash, stealing in the video game for the posse, and then you can finally work your way up, but you can never make your way up to the top because there's the founding members, and you will never break
just like a pyramid scheme.
So you have very complex 21st, 22nd, maybe in the future issues here, and you have 90-year-old members of Congress.
Yeah.
Do they even understand these problems?
Who don't understand.
And so how can they fix them or legislate them, right? Their only answer is going to be do nothing or ban it. And all a ban does is create a black market. So you're going to have VPNs that go to Turkey and let you play games. And then it's going to get way worse because the only people that are going to do that are edgelords.
Or people like you.
They're not good people. So it's
Well, I'm excited that Facebook is now going to be Meta then. This is going to go well. We've gone from, hey, the social media thing that we all use is going to lead to edgelords.
I would like to say one
Thanks
thing.
for joining us, Chris.
I would like
Enjoy
to say
your 3-hour drive back home. It's even worse going west.
Oh, is it really? I was hoping it wouldn't be.
one last thing on this topic is that I play a lot of Call of Duty Mobile.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot
You would
better.
love it on this phone. Hook up a controller to it, Bluetooth. You don't even need the on-screen buttons.
How would he buy one?
Mouse and keyboard. You can hook mouse and keyboard up to this and literally cheat your way to the top. Like, not cheat, but it's basically cheating because other people are using touchscreens on their phones.
No, they put you in a separate server if you have a controller.
On the phone?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they know.
They didn't used to when it came out?
No.
Okay. That's interesting.
That's a newer thing. But I've gotten a lot better since China has implemented their 3-hour rule. It seems like every time that I would get killed in a multiplayer match, like actually usually Battle Royale, I will win 4 out of 5 times. And then but multiplayer matches are really difficult for me, and because they're so much more fast paced, but it seemed like every time that I would get killed, it would be by Chinese characters. And it was like, are you freaking?
I mean,
But I'm not playing in the U.S.
quit joining the US East servers just to play me.
I mean, like, and I am not a serious gamer. Like I just don't. But like I've usually have like a Nintendo system, or like right now I have an Xbox. But I bet that would happen back then. You'd log in and do Mario Kart online, and it would tell you. I think it would tell you how old some of the people were, and like, oh, you're playing with a 9-year-old from Japan, and he would like whip me.
Yeah.
He beat me by like 35 seconds in a 3-lap race in Mario Kart, and you're like, I don't know how this is possible. And they've got ways of doing.
You got to use the slide.
I'm good at the slide.
The slide can give you a boost.
My theory is that
Or bananas.
I'm well versed on the slide.
My theory is that all the Chinese kids that were killing me and besting me, they're the bad Chinese kids. Like, they're not any good in China, so they have to join the U.S. servers because it's easier, because they're playing people like me. But if they join the Chinese servers, then they suck. That's my theory.
Yeah. Like, they're not going to become the hackers of tomorrow. They're just kind of like the wash-ups.
They're the casual player like me.
That's why the F1 backmarkers come over to the U.S. and they turn into Ramon Grosjean.
The casual players in China are like pros in America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just trying to wind Zach up.
All right, Zach, tell me about this pricks.
Okay.
The Grand Prix.
So,
For that joke,
quick
because I
quick
called
backstory.
USAC,
Formula One has just
USAC.
never gotten a hold in the United States. It is by far the world's largest racing series. They travel all over the world. These crazy, huge crowds. People pay enormous money. Like outside the United States, a ticket for a Formula One race, and usually it's a 3-day ticket, can be like $500 to $1,000.
Picture the NFL, right? If you want to overlay it, picture the NFL, and an NFL franchise is like a Formula One team.
But everything's probably
Massive money.
even on similar pricing in terms of like merch and stuff. Like because like a polo shirt for Ferrari is like $60 to $80.
It's like buying an NFL Andrew Luck jersey.
Yeah, and diehard fans that come from all over the world know everything about their guys. When Fernando Alonso tested the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a guy was there on a random Wednesday flying the state flag for the state in Spain that Fernando Alonso's from. I don't even know how you know that. I was like, who is that? He's like, that's the provincial flag. So I turn on and I see some highlights from the Formula One race. I hear they had a big crowd, and they actually have a Formula One crowd in the United States for the first time ever. Like an actual, looks like a Formula One crowd. Crazy people, all the colors, all the flags. And I hear 400,000 people made it over the weekend. Not one day, but the weekend. So there's probably 300,000 of that was the same 100,000 people coming back every day. And they're saying almost all of it is due to Netflix.
So in 2018, 264,000 people attended the races at COTA. In 2021, over 400,000.
Yeah, like a 40% increase.
Okay, so it's because of Netflix.
There's a Netflix show.
Well, how many people were here in Indy at the Speedway?
Oh, I bet not that many.
Not 400,000?
No, not over 3 days. I bet Friday was pretty quiet. Friday used to be pretty quiet. Never packed stands. Like never remotely felt packed. It was kind of hard to judge because it was infield. A lot of people were infield. I have never seen a U.S. Grand Prix with a crowd that looked like that looked. Like that looked like every other race. That looked like a home European race.
That looked like they were in England.
That looked like they were, anywhere else they go in the world.
Spa.
Spa or Monza for the Italian Grand Prix it was, I've never seen, it killed me a little bit to see that crowd because I was like, man, because I'm an IndyCar fan kind of first. And I was like, that's not good.
So what is Drive to Survive?
Drive to Survive it's a great show. And even if you're not a race fan, it's worth watching. They started documenting, they've done 2 or 3 seasons. I can't remember. The Formula One seasons. And so like about the time that the one season's going to start, the Drive to Survive season drops and it's covering the last season.
They started video. I think they just did the 3rd season. So they started taping it, I want to say in 2018.
Yeah. And so they kind of cover a few, kind of stories throughout the thing, but for the most part, they'll kind of pick one team and for the weekend, they'll follow them. And one thing, they don't care what happens on air. They say horrible things to each other. They cuss each other out. They're yelling. They're screaming at each other. But you get to meet all the people and hear all these backstories. And it was kind of out during the pandemic, so a lot of people watched it. and
It
people
was
love
the other big thing other than Tiger King.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I love Drive to Survive. I binge watch it when it comes out.
Every season is a different season of the race.
Yeah.
Of the series.
Yeah. Different
every
series.
season
yeah.
of the
So they
series.
and so like even Romain Grosjean came, they did a whole episode on his crash.
Yeah, it was amazing.
A whole episode.
It was very dramatic.
Just on that crash. And if you haven't seen the Romain Grosjean crash, look it up. He was in a burning car for like almost 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And came out.
Everyone thought
and his helmet's melted. And he literally crawled out of a fireball. And you didn't know until you had to see like computer imaging to see how he even got out of the car. But IndyCar's been like, we need to get a Netflix show. I don't know if we could do it. I don't know if the United States can handle the uncensored manner in which Drive to Survive happens.
Do you honestly think that's the American demographic? Because it's so popular here, right? Americans care, obviously. There's 400,000 people in the stands at COTA.
They like it here, but the outrage...
Do you think our sponsors wouldn't stand for it?
I think that the tie-in with corporate sponsors here...
Because you look at the side of a Red Bull car or whatever, there's shells on the side of Ferrari, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure how they skip over that. I just don't see it. I would love for them to try. And I remember like one of the episodes, they're showing Daniel Ricciardo, who's this happy-go-lucky Australian guy. And he said like one of the George Carlin words you don't say casually into the camera. Like camera's right in front of him. I'm like, holy cow, they just played that. And it was the intro to the episode.
It's in the Bert Kreischer, there's one thing you can call a woman and she can't not be it, I believe is the phrase.
Yeah, and I was shocked. I'm like, I just don't see like Alexander Rossi being able to say that. And I mean, look at the flack that the comedy special.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle's in right now. I'm like, I just don't.
You think cancel culture would kill Drive to Survive in the United States if it was IndyCar?
It would kill a team first or kill somebody's career. I would love to see him try. I would love to be proven wrong, but stuff just goes so viral here so fast and people go protesting stuff so quickly. But I love to see him find a way to try and get something in there. But man, the F1, there's undeniable that affected the F1 crowd and it was amazing.
It's the one thing that's changed.
And the celebrities that were there, Shaq was there. There's a tremendous meme where Shaq was on the podium. He's obviously bigger than everybody, but somebody photoshopped him just a little bit bigger, so it looks like he's taller than them after they're on the podium. But and then there was a thing we'll talk about. Mgan the Stallion was there. They had all the celebrities. I mean, like so many celebrities there.
Does Dakota? Who the hell is Mgan the Stallion? Do you know who this is?
No idea. I bet
you don't.
No.
Gault, do you know who it is?
WAP.
Yeah. Most people.
Oh, that's her.
Well,
yes.
there are two in that video.
Oh,
or that song. The first thing he said about Drive to Survive was, "You don't have to be a race fan to like it." I find that interesting.
It's the same thing with motors.
It's just drama.
Motorsports.
If you like drama, you'll like the show.
Motorsports is personality, and if you could look past the fact that it's race cars, it's the personalities of it. It's the same reason that on HBO, my wife cares about the NFL because they have the
Hard
Knocks series. And we watched the Cleveland Browns, and we're laughing our asses off at this is before he was outed as being gay, but the defensive coordinator for the Browns is all over Carl Nassib for his name being Carl. Like, how the hell is a baby named Carl, right? Who looks at their kid and says, I'm going to name this kid Carl. It's a kid so cute, I got to name him Carl. So Greg Williams is going through the whole damn show, 4 or 5 episodes, making fun of Carl Nassib for his name. And it's the human side.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why somebody might care about the NFL there, or why you care about Drive to Survive. You don't, whatever. Yeah, there's competition. Is Ferrari going to beat Red Bull or McLaren, or is Williams going to suck, or whatever? However, it's going to land. We all know that Mercedes is going to be the fastest on the track for the next 2 or 3 years.
Haas was very interesting in the first season.
So the Haas spent all this money and they lost their sponsorship, and God only knows what happens. And Gunther Steiner's a jerk.
The Gunther Steiner.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Gunther. I don't understand how he still has a job. I mean, I guess that's a defies my. He is, but there's all these people that have the cutouts of his head, like we have the Dakota in the back. That's Gunther like yelling, and it's just a joke now.
Yeah,
he's a meme. He's
a meme. He's a meme on his own.
Yeah,
but that's the point, is that you create all of these storylines, and I think that's what. And I think next week's show guest is going to be Joey Molinaro, and we're going to talk about some of this with him as well. But the growth of sport is on personality. It's not over. Yes, Braves 6, Cardinals 4. That nobody cares, right? It was cool, and that matters to 5%. But it's was Albert Pujols juicing? Was what happened?
I think that's why people
matters.
like the Olympics, because the Olympics, there's all this extra time, and they're running all these personal interest pieces on all the athletes and stuff, and so
that's why when NBC comes to town, it's you get Tom Rinaldi and his piano. And you get we learned about Joseph Newgarden and his wife in Japan, right? Like that's the stuff you hear about and you learn about. That's what connects people.
I think that's why he's concerned about cancel culture, though, is because you start an IndyCar show
when they find out who the real Will Power is.
Yeah, they find out about these people and the drama behind them. And
Will Power, I love Will Power. And Will Power's insane. And apparently some people got a taste of Will Power when they did their online, when they did the virtual racing. He was just going crazy in the chat. And I want to see him do it. And I would love to see it good and successful. And people are like, oh, that's them. And I guess people can listen to the radios now and they say some awful things on the radio. But yeah, IndyCar should have been doing this years ago.
So F1 had a massive crowd. We give credit to Netflix. And Zach is incredibly jealous over it.
Oh, I mean, like it looked like an F1 race when an F1 race has never looked like an F1 race.
An F1 race in the United States.
Yes, it's never looked like that in the United States.
They're doubling their footprint next year. They special built COTA, and COTA was nearly bankrupt 2 years ago. Yeah. It was not good, and now COTA's ass has been saved by Netflix. And now next year they're going to have a second U.S. Grand Prix race in Miami, Florida.
And I heard
around the stadium.
I heard that they want 5 U.S. races. I don't understand how they're going to get 5.
It's insanity.
They're not going to sell out. They're not going to have a 400,000 person crowd at 5 GPs in the United States. They're going to find an apathetic city at some point. But yeah, the Miami race, and I bet the Miami race will be bigger than Austin because it's Miami. It's a party. That's a bigger party city.
Word is they want to add Vegas after that.
I mean, people are going to start dying at these races because of the partying that's going to happen. Austin's not that track. I think it's called Austin. I don't think it's very close to Austin. I think if I remember right, it might be like an hour away from downtown. I can't remember for sure. It's in the middle of nowhere, but
a show would be cool for us. But I'm not that jealous of the show. I'm a race fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a drama fan. That's why I watch IndyCar. So I'll take the drama, and it can be an added bonus. But what I'm really jealous of is that Formula One gets a video game every single year and sells it for full price and makes tons of money. And I want an IndyCar video game more than anything. That's what I really want. That's what I'm jealous of. And they're supposed to be working on it.
You'll get one.
Yeah, 2024. Let's go. Just fast forward. I'll go to sleep.
If we're looking at Austin, Texas, in relation to Indianapolis and where the racetrack is, it is 11 miles southeast, so it'd be like putting the racetrack in
it's closer than I thought.
Man, Bogstown, like on the way to Shelbyville, southeast of Indianapolis. That would basically be what it is.
If I get 100 private messages on my Facebook, I'll look at starting another podcast. If you want a racing podcast, message me and let me know. If that's something you would watch.
Another racing podcast.
Is there a racing podcast in Indiana?
Well,
in Indiana.
Next week we have
the racing capital of the world.
Joey Molinaro coming on to promote Speed Street. So that one exists.
Okay.
There are 3 episodes in. You're not too far behind.
There's 3 episodes in.
There's at least
he beat me to it.
Okay, well,
dang it.
Independent.
I mean, his co-host is Connor Daly. Who you got somebody lined up?
Yeah.
You want to out them?
No.
I mean, you want to talk that there's Trackside, which is that's Kurt Cavan and Kevin.
Hellio.
And
you got the race with Jared Hildebrand and
Jack. There's no Indiana
Benyon.
connection. Pit Lane Parlay has the Indiana connection. I can't remember her name now, but IndyCar.
You don't want to say her name, or you don't know?
No, I
her
just can't remember her actual name off the top of my head.
Shannon McBride.
Yeah. But,
Danny Lundy says IndyCar Meta from EA Sports is coming in 2024. Sarah Morrell in the chat, the wonderful, lovely, and talented Sarah Morrell, reminds us that Off Track is Indiana based.
oh, yes. Well, yeah.
Sweet.
It depends on the week.
And of course, the Marshall Pro podcast.
That's not Indiana based.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it started with Robin Miller. How soon you forget, you jerk.
Or Robin.
Too soon.
Okay, did any of you guys see the Martin Brundle, Mgan, the Stallion interaction?
I saw the replay, and I want Dakota to pull it up for himself on his phone and watch this live. Have you seen? Are you familiar?
No,
All right, go to YouTube.
I don't know who Martin.
Just
Brundle
type in
is.
Martin Brundle is a retired Formula One race car driver.
He's a man who your knowledge of him is inversely proportional to his net worth. Because somebody posted how much he's worth, and I don't even think Connor Daly understands. Because Connor mentioned on the podcast with Joey that something about treating people about how much they're worth, and I'm like, I don't think that he knows that Martin's worth about 19 times more than Mgan the Stallion is worth, because people forget what old F1 money is worth.
So he's an old F1 driver, and now he's as they call it in the across the pond, he's a presenter on Sky Sports. So he's the pit reporter, or the human interest guy. So I'm having Dakota pull this up, and he's going to play it live for himself, and we're going to have to put it in front of the microphone so that we can get the audio.
Very big bloke in front of her, I don't think. Mgan, Martin Brundle from British Television. How are you? Mgan the Stallion, you're a freestyle rapper. I think she's happy. Okay, boss. You're a freestyle rapper. Have you got any rap for us today on Formula One?
I have no rap today. I'm sorry.
Who are you supporting in the race? I can do that because I did. Yeah. Okay.
The big guy said you can't do this.
That's very nice of her.
So I have to admit that she's not on the XM channel 58 when I'm listening to my prime country, so I'm not as familiar with his work as Gault is, but I am aware of a couple of her cuts that she has put out.
She was there because she's being paid.
She was promoting Cash App or some shit,
which is a sponsor of Red Bull.
Yeah. So she was there. She was there as a promotional person. The American media market shows up, wants to talk to her, and her gigantic security guard shoves her away. He asks
the dumbest question,
top three
ever.
dumbest questions ever of, hey, you going to put a quarter in the jukebox and have you do a thing for me?
It just seemed like I don't understand why this is newsworthy. 'Cause it seems
Why are we talking?
It seems like every other annoying media member trying to talk to a celebrity.
Yeah. A lot of people are attacking her and her security for shoving him
for
back.
not knowing who the hell he was.
For not knowing who he was. But
He's worth more than her, isn't he?
He's worth, apparently his net worth is $100 million.
Yeah.
So
she should have been begging for
if
him
you
to
went
talk to
to,
him.
if you went to England, it would be like telling, I don't know, Oprah.
Throwback. Throwback.
Telling Oprah to stop talking.
Or like,
You can't do that, Oprah. I'm Oprah. I can do whatever I want.
I just,
That was
when
his
I
reaction.
first time I heard it, I was like, he just walked up to her and asked her to perform like she was some kind of circus monkey.
Right.
And like,
That was a terrible question.
That was a
the
horrible
next
thing
question
to do.
of, hey,
Who do you? That should
who
have
are
been
you
his lead
supporting?
question.
What are you doing? Whatever, are you excited to be here? What do you think of Austin? Any of those questions would have made sense.
But at that point, the security guard was already intervening.
But the security guard was already catching up to him before he even got to her.
Yeah.
He was already getting the stink eye. And it happened live on a worldwide television feed.
Yeah. Just
Peak awkwardness.
cringy. Yeah, cringy all around. And her response seemed to be fine. I don't have any rap today. And then at that point, and I think somebody said that, I haven't seen the video, but apparently when they try to kind of shove him away, she kind of taps the security guy on the shoulder and is like, leave him alone, and kind of pulls him back a little bit. But yeah, I'm just like,
I mean, if they wanted something for Drive for Survive next year, if the security guard had punched him in the face,
they're going to get
Great
they're going
ratings.
to get 40 minutes out of that next year for Drive to Survive. They're going to get, that's a whole episode of just
Yeah. You remember he said
of pure human
Grosjean
drama.
was in the fire for 3 minutes? That was 45 minutes on the TV show.
Yeah. It's going to be like episode 8, kicked by the Stallion, and that's going to be a whole episode. Yeah, it was just cringy all around. I haven't seen a lot of people say you shouldn't ask somebody to do that. And I finally heard Joey Molinaro was kind of like, it's people like walking up and asking me to start doing invitations on the street.
So here's the thing. We've not talked about who won the race. We haven't talked about any of that. It's entirely been on the personality and the stories that came out of it. That's what people care about.
Yeah.
And that's the point of why Drive Survive matters and why IndyCar, with their new relationship with Peacock and the investment that NBC has just made into the IndyCar series, they have to make it the top priority.
That's
right
why.
along with the video game.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's the only reason people care about that stuff is because the same person wins every race.
Well,
it's not like IndyCar where we would be talking about who won the Indy 500
this year.
Everyone
Max
wants to
Verstappen,
know who won
Lewis
the Indy
Hamilton.
500. Everyone. You don't talk about the Indy 500 after the Indy 500 and not talk about who won. Because it's racing. It's not a money engineering competition, okay?
Dakota, have you got any thoughts on this?
No, I don't care.
Because drama sells. That's all they have.
That's what
they
it
have.
is.
Drama, money, sponsorships, girls, drama. IndyCar's got racing tracks. Like,
I'm kind of curious to see if they get the show done and get the show started. I want to see who fills into the certain roles.
competition.
Because somebody's got to be like the bad guy. Like, who's going to be?
They just sent the bad guy to NASCAR.
I mean, like, but you have like bad owners and even like some of the team principals. Like, if you guys want to see what a modern day evil mastermind looks like, Google Toto Wolff, the head of Mercedes. He looks like the kind of guy who just orders people to die for fun.
I bring it
That's
up.
Dale Coyne.
Jared, I bring it up, Jared, because the drama that you're selling is going to encourage more bad behavior. It's going to encourage people to act out more for views. It's going to encourage people and more bad ownership because you want personalities. You want people to laugh at and make fun of and hate. And it's going to encourage more of that. I don't want that in IndyCar. I want drivers and competition. I want the best drivers in the world. That's what I want.
You got to care about the people, though. I mean, like, I like Alexander Rossi, and he's a bit of a pain, but he's our pain. He's, his personality is funny.
Personalities are great. I think that's fantastic.
Personality's great.
Does this man on the screen look like he orders people to die for fun?
No, he looks funny.
Toto Wolff looks
Toto
funny.
Wolff does not look funny.
George Bush didn't.
He's almost got no neck.
Look like a killer either.
Okay, you didn't find any good ones at Toto. Every time they talk to him in Drive to Survive, he's pumping weight in the gym. His shirts barely fit.
That happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of the racing segment. Dakota hated it, which is unfortunate.
He just sat there confused.
Danny Lundy's in the chat, and he says, I don't know. The number one question I hear about the 500 is who got arrested this weekend, not who won. Gault, how many 500s have you gone through in a row without getting arrested?
All of them.
Was that like 3?
I've been to, I haven't counted. I guess I'd say like 20 something.
All right.
In a row.
I haven't missed since 2008. 2008 is the beginning of my continuous streak.
Oh, wow. So I've been longer than you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. My first one was 2003, but I had a couple of gaps.
Yeah. I haven't missed a 500. I've missed plenty of brickyards and I didn't miss a USGP in Indianapolis though.
Real fans would have gone to Texas. All right, I've got a bucket of Halloween candy on the table because it's left over from my weekend at the Spooktacular at Summit Lake. By the way, I got myself a photo spread in the Courier-Times. Did you catch that, Dakota?
I was going to say, was that your contribution to the Courier-Times?
Yes.
Okay,
it was attributed by me.
We're trying to figure out. We're like, my mom's.
I didn't see it.
I get a call and like,
Me neither.
Oh,
I
my
don't get the
brother and
Courier-Times.
sister-in-law and my nephew are in the paper, and so is your niece.
My niece and my sister.
And I was like, how did that? I'm like, I don't remember there being anybody. And I'm like, you know what? These are all places Jeremiah was. And so, yeah, Jeremiah was.
Yeah, they're photo. If you look at thecouriertimes.com, it's photos by Jeremiah Morrell. Travis White Week, whatever. He attributed me. But yeah, I got pictures in.
Sarah says you're supposed to save the candy for the weekend. Sorry, Sarah.
This was a social experiment, Sarah. There's more at home. So this is what I wanted to know is what does Halloween look like for each of you? I celebrated Halloween at the Spooktacular last Saturday night. So I'm done. I'm out. I'm all, my lights will be turned off. I texted my friends who normally bring their kids over and said, hey, if you're expecting to come to my house for Halloween and you're going to stop by, don't. If you want candy early, you come tell me and I'll get your kids some candy. but I'm out this year. We're going to be unavailable. What does Halloween look like in the Dakota and Audrey Davis home? What do we know?
I don't know what we're doing yet.
You don't know? Do you have
an almost 2-year-old?
Does he have a costume?
No. Too young for that.
What?
He's never going to remember.
You can dress him up as whatever you want.
And Instagram. You don't do it for the baby.
All these kids, all these people forcing their kids into costumes, it just makes them upset.
You're supposed to get him a Power Wheel mower and dress him up as Sturgill Simpson on the cover of that album.
I'm more interested whenever he can decide what he wants to wear.
Hannah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
My
what
sister
do you
Hannah,
want to be? That's a good question.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Hannah and Tatum went trick-or-treating for the first time together. Hannah had never trick-or-treated in her entire life, 20-some years. That was the very first time. So that was the joke, is that as soon as she finally went trick-or-treating, she made the news. And I said, yeah, that's what happens when you bring your press secretary with you. Tatum was a cow, and it was great. Hannah wasn't dressed up. So you don't, do you get any trick-or-treaters at your house in Spiceland? You're kind of out in the country, but you're close enough.
We're too far out.
Did you back on somewhere north of Q?
Yeah, we always handed out candy when we lived in Newcastle. And I think that last year we handed out candy at my sister-in-law's house, which is in Newcastle. And I don't know if we're doing that again this year or not. I know we bought Jackson like a skeleton shirt. Like, it's got a skeleton on it, and he wore that down at the campground whenever trick-or-treating was, which was last weekend.
Yeah, so you did the exact same thing we did.
But we didn't actually, we didn't trick-or-treat much. Our friend group sets up a giant candy stop for the kids.
It's basically a trunk or treat.
No. It's just our friend group.
Okay.
Like, the kids are trick-or-treating throughout the campground, but we set up a giant stop, and everybody brings, a different soup and alcoholic drinks for the parents, and then everybody hands out candy to the kids. And most of the parents dress up, too. So we just hung out at our stop with our people the whole time. I think that my dad might have taken him to a couple places that were nearby, but that was it. I mean, he's not 2 years old yet. There's no point to it.
Tatum had an incredible time.
He's never going to remember it.
She's younger than just because they don't remember it doesn't mean they can't have fun.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't have fun. I'm saying forcing him into some stupid outfit that he's going to hate. That's not why would he do that whenever I can just get a t-shirt that's screen printed with a skeleton?
Sure.
And he has more fun that way. And no adult actually gives a damn because he's a cute, 20-month-old.
Sure.
My understanding was that Tatum had the sound effects down. I didn't get to witness it myself, but I heard she made the cow noise.
Oh yeah, she was mooing on command.
They like making noises around that.
She was making moo noises. She was saying, please, thank you. She was doing great. And then after she did the whole loop, she walked the entire campground loop A on her own. And then she was done. She chilled. She got out of her cow costume, and it was trick-or-treating was over at 7:00. She and her mom and my parents were getting in my truck I was going to drive them back out. And she misinterpreted it as we're going again. And the meltdown was when she couldn't go the second time, when it was over and she couldn't go. Chris, what's it look like in Mooresville, Morgan County? Do you get trick-or-treaters in your high-end suburban neighborhood?
High-end. Actually, it's kind of interesting because I used to live in Mars Hill, if you know what Mars Hill is.
That's where they make the Mars candies.
No, it's where they make the meth candies. And so Halloween was kids didn't really trick or treat in Mars Hill. So when I moved to Mooresville, my neighborhood in Mooresville specifically, it is their favorite holiday by far. More than Christmas, almost every house in my neighborhood is decorated for Halloween. They all stand out in their driveways, and it is all out. Everyone's super about Halloween. And then my first Halloween there, I couldn't believe it was like a parade full of kids and people walking down the sidewalks and cars everywhere. Cars parked outside of the neighborhood because they couldn't even get in anymore. It's crazy.
That's the way our neighborhood looks like.
Yeah, I've
it's
never
surreal.
experienced it before, so
Gridlock.
maybe other people feel this, but this is a first for me. This is my third Halloween now.
So are you ready for this year? Or are you gonna go to your parents, shut the lights out, and hide? And be
I
the
might
cheap
just
bastard
hide
you
this
could
year
be?
because it was a lot. And I feel like my neighbors got it under control. They don't need my candy. But I don't know. I might spend some time with my nieces or something instead. But what's really great is Saturday, we're doing a volunteer appreciation party for the Morgan County Libertarian Party for all the people that came out and volunteered for us this year, helped a candidate or helped us at our outreach event. So we're doing a nice thing for them. Chili cook-off. Got some, it'll be a good time for our volunteers. Very exclusive event.
Are you responsible for the chili?
I am not.
What goes in chili?
Definitely noodles, elbow noodles to be specific.
Elbow macaroni and beans.
You make
beans?
What you do is you make your chili without noodles, and you make a big nice thing of mac and cheese, and you put your chili on top of your mac and cheese, and it's the greatest thing ever. It's way better than chili.
Oh, that's chili mac.
Yes, and chili mac is way better than chili.
Chili mac is good.
Way better than chili. So yeah, that's my plans. It's going to be a great weekend. Obviously, or not obviously, but we're doing a lot of door knocking, even though it's kind of cold right now. We're doing a survey in Madison Township for Kristen Alexander's campaign. She's running for a local township board to try to fix some of these things we were talking about in the Patreon thing. So definitely sign up for Patreon and listen to that first topic we were talking about. But it's the Board of Zoning Appeals. It's local government, and you can make a big impact in local government. And that's what we're working on for Kristen. So follow her page. But we're doing a survey of just the local neighborhoods in her township to see what issues are important for them. So when we go back next year, we can say, you said this was important to you. Well, we're running on that, so vote for us, and it's going to make a big impact there. So we're already working towards our election next year already in October.
You're going to have the chili information in her pamphlet. If you want a small ground game campaign, you're going to have
The recipe.
beans, yes or no, noodles, yes or no, and why.
Yeah.
You can't, because you got to explain yourself.
We're not going to put policies on the back. We're going to put the chili recipe on the back.
So
then that goes on the fridge.
Why? Why?
Zach,
Because it tastes better?
Chili mac?
we're stuck on chili.
You don't like mac and cheese? Because it's one of my favorite foods that I haven't had all year. So if you're going to tell me you don't like it, I'll be very disappointed.
I love mac and cheese.
I love chili without noodles, but mac and cheese is a fine dish.
And together,
Baked. I've never done it.
both things are amazing, and together,
Never had it together. I will at some point try it. Zach, any thoughts on Halloween?
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever handed out candy at my house. We normally go somewhere else. Like, it's my birthday.
You're nomads. I mean, you guys decorate your campsite unbelievably. And it is your birthday. You're turning 73, according to Guffey.
Yeah, yep. I'm getting ready to sign an AARP card, Guffey.
You're going to have to update. You're going to get your next bottle of hair dye.
And then my wife, in the last couple of years, has run the YMCA trunk or treat, which we're not doing this year. Kind of my fault. But and so we've always either gone there, or when we have kids, you take them trick or treating, so you can't really. They're like trick or treating in Newcastle is spotty. Like, there's streets that look like there's nothing going on, and then we have streets. Like, there's one street they shut down the street just for trick or treating, and there's a guy who has a Kiss tribute band, all this other stuff. So you kind of got to hit the hot spots. We bounce around a little bit. But yeah, usually I'm either out to eat or now we're taking the kids out. I'll be unavailable this year. So we'll see. They might be handing out candy where we're going to be at this weekend. But
it's not advertised, but we're whatever Dakota hasn't eaten, which is most of it. We'll bring the rest of that.
We've got some leftover
and see what happens.
Last week too. Yeah, the state park Halloweens are kind of insane.
When did you guys last go to Halloween parties? Like, have you been as an adult to a Halloween party? And did you dress up? Did you wear anything?
Yeah.
Well,
Did I wear anything? I didn't go nude. The last time I went to a Halloween party was probably mid-20s. The last costume I remember wearing to an adult Halloween party was pot leaf.
Of course.
I was a giant pot leaf.
Of
and
course.
Everybody thought it was hilarious.
Everybody,
Do you
look
still
at
have
Hey,
it?
everybody, look.
No, I don't still have it.
Hey, everybody, look at my shocked face.
It was. I was the high life of the party. Like
Zach?
with that costume on.
God.
Zach, when's the last time you put a Halloween costume on?
Once
Once ever as an adult?
for a party. Yeah, and I've been to two, kind of. One of them was kind of a birthday / Halloween party. I think other people are dressed up. I'll vent about this until the day I die. I have a twin, and my twin ran off to make good money saving the people of Puerto Rico and their electrical, and he left his camper in Indianapolis with full waste tanks. And I was like, hey, bro, can you take care of that for me? And so I spent the entire party, did not participate at all in the party, trying to figure out what to do with full waste tanks on a camper in Broad Ripple. And the nearest dump station is not in Marion County. There's not one in Marion County.
Oh, God.
I think maybe, I'm not sure if the like south side of Indy, there's a truck stop at like 31 and 465. So that's probably inside the loop or that's the closest truck stop with the dump.
So what did you do?
I got very creative, and in 3 to 5 years, I'll tell people what I did. But it stayed in Broad Ripple. Or in the near Broad Ripple
When
area.
the statute of limitations was
Yeah.
up. Exactly.
Yeah. I might have.
I just asked about a Halloween party. He's like, I dumped a shitter tank straight into the sewer.
Not even in the sewer. So, and then I had another. I did have some friends had a party one time, and that one I kind of showed up as like a Donnie Baker kind of guy. I was in boots. I cut off a pair of jeans. I had a wolf shirt and a hat with a mullet on. I think trucker hat. So I kind of went as native white trash. So it wasn't much of a stretch.
Dakota, do you have any memory? Is this something you abandoned immediately after high school?
No, I dressed up a few times. I don't remember. I had a big like beer glass.
You and your family do a Christmas. You put on your white trash Christmas attire every year. Full sleeve. I've seen it. You've done white trash Christmas many times. Or maybe that's just what your family does at Christmas. But
that was years ago. That wasn't a family
Just
thing.
categorized it in a way he hadn't thought of.
That wasn't a family thing. And it was a one-time thing. There was a Christmas party that was biker themed. That one year,
Okay.
like 4 years ago. You have impressive memory, Jeremiah.
Dude, it's phenomenal where I can pull stuff from.
But I say you have impressive memory, but you got like 75% of the facts wrong.
He makes those up as he
I
goes.
paint a broad picture and I let you
He's like,
fill
yeah,
it in.
your family, they do white trash stuff on Christmas. Excuse me?
Concept of entertainment starts and stops with me and Chris Spangle on the network. Everybody else, not a damn clue. Just don't know. You don't know how to do it. Hey, I found my pen that I lost earlier. So. All right. So
Wow,
what
entertainment.
What'd you do last Halloween? What last Halloween costume did you do one? What
I just said that I dressed as a big pint of beer.
Okay.
So wait, I got crap for being the pot leaf, and he was a pint of beer, and he doesn't get crap.
It's legal.
You know, alcohol kills more people.
Way more.
It's your typecast, buddy.
It's just a costume. He might not even drink.
I did.
Only one of those costumes is called probable cause. If you can see it out in public with it on.
I have two memorable ones. Do you guys remember the original Batman, the 60s Batman?
Pow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burgess Meredith was Penguin. I fully invested in the Penguin suit and like top hat, all of that shit. I did. So I went Burgess Meredith Penguin one year.
Wow.
You're a little tall.
Listen, man, I am what I am. But
I bet you pulled that off.
I did fine. And I had the
I'm thinking of
Smokey
Danny
Joe.
DeVito.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 30 years later, dude.
You weren't around in the 60s either.
That stuff was on syndication. Though.
It was.
I grew up watching
the Batman
that.
movie from the 60s was.
Damn.
Jeremiah's like, huh.
Yeah.
Back when I was a boy.
Kapow.
That was 25 years before you.
No. That's just it is there are different eras. But I went Burgess Meredith Penguin.
1966.
Yeah, the movie was great.
Leotard Batman.
So yeah, the top hat, the
purple,
bow tie.
This is the purple
Yeah.
penguin.
This is Purple Penguin.
Danny DeVito is way better.
Yeah, there's been a number of different penguins over the years, but yeah, I went Burgess Meredith, and who later was in Grumpy Old Man. By the way, he was the old man. That was same guy. So the more you know. And then I went as Fear. Remember from The Office? Mose,
I've never seen The Office.
Mose was Fear for Halloween. I took a long sleeve gray T-shirt and red electrical tape, and I literally just taped on the letters Fear, and that was my cheapest, most low budget.
I had a friend in high
sad
school
single man
did the
costume.
Jim Halpert 3-hole punch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very similar. Very similar.
Have you guys done a couple's costume before?
No.
Never.
I never have.
Just a dream of mine.
Audrey gets like different T-shirts and stuff for Halloween.
I have so many comments, Gault, and I'm just going to hold them. I'm just going to hold them back and transition as gracefully as we ever do to Zach B for final thoughts. Anything?
I have a gripe for my final thought.
Good.
Walmart lost money yesterday because I went in there and I was there a week ago and they had charcoal right by the entrance because I'm a little short. I got a couple more camping trips in the works. I need some charcoal. That is gone. They are full on
Christmas.
Full on
Seasonal aisles
Thanksgiving
gone.
and the grocery stuff. Yeah, they got crock pots and they've got pallets of flour. And I know that they always keep a little bit of charcoal back there in this back of the seasonal section. But it was past all the Christmas bows, the Christmas trees. And I said, I am not walking through that shit. It is not even Halloween yet. We still had a week to go. And so I'm like, nope. So I went to Kroger and bought a little bag of charcoal there that probably cost me the same price the big bag would have at Walmart. But one of my pet peeves is the fact we skip Thanksgiving because I think Thanksgiving is a superior holiday.
Yeah, I like Thanksgiving more than.
Well, first of all, you're thankful, and secondly, it's a lot more low pressure.
Yeah,
in every way possible.
I love
bring a dish, get together, have a good time. That's the best.
You must not make the turkey because there's a lot of pressure on the turkey cooker in my family.
Have smoked a turkey.
Watch some football.
I cook the turkey and the ham, bro.
But you get 95% of us get Friday
There's pressure
off.
there. Yeah.
Nothing to do Friday.
4-day weekend. So it's the best because it's the best holiday because it's got built-in recovery days. It kicks off a weekend.
Yeah.
There's no pressure in terms of just bring a dish. That's all you have to do. I usually have maybe 2 Thanksgivings and sometimes 3. My in-laws will sometimes, my father-in-law loves to have a big breakfast that morning. Great way to start the day was a big breakfast. So you just eat all day. My Christmas is insanity. My Christmas is 5 or 6 different functions over 2 or 3 days.
No way.
And it's insanity. So Christmas is very high pressure. And that's not even going into the money of Christmas. Thanksgiving is just a superior holiday in every way.
I don't eat anything on Thanksgiving until Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah,
so I can eat a bunch.
Multiple, we go to 2 different Thanksgivings. And so normally my family's Thanksgiving is first. And so we eat dinner there and then we go to the other one and we get all the dessert there. We just hit the desserts.
We joke on the show about me not having self-control with food, and I have made myself puke at multiple events.
Wow.
Because I just can't stop eating. It's a real issue.
The Thanksgiving.
I've been training myself all year on that. It is a hard thing.
It's a real issue. I can't.
It's an issue for a lot of people.
My father-in-law will do steak and eggs. He'll do biscuits and gravy, potatoes, all kinds of stuff for breakfast Thanksgiving morning. And then I'm like, okay, I'm stuffed. Now what do I do? Because my first dinner is in 3 hours.
Well, I used to feel like if I had extra food that I needed to eat it, I'm wasting it. And there's starving kids in Africa and things like that. And now I'm just like, oh, I'm full. And I throw it away. I just throw it away. I'm full.
My move is if I'm trying to lose weight or if whenever I was losing weight, I just had low calorie foods. And if I ate low calorie foods, then I could just literally eat until I felt stuffed. But I wasn't eating that much. So fruits and vegetables, Smart Pop popcorn.
Egg whites for days.
Egg whites, fat-free cheese, Greek yogurt.
Oh, yeah, Greek yogurt.
And I would Yeah, you can do.
Oh, yeah.
You can eat like an entire full bag of Smart Pop popcorn that fills up like a giant mixing bowl is like 300 calories. You cannot eat a full bag of popcorn and then be like, what else do I want?
You haven't hung out with my son. I think Owen could. He's always hungry.
Chris,
I'm talking maybe not at a mealtime, but like I'm talking about just like a snack time. I want a little snack.
You got any
Eats a
final
whole
thoughts
bag
for
of
me?
popcorn.
Me?
yeah. I know during the Halloween thing you did your whole pitch that you were supposed to say for final thoughts, but you shot it too early.
I didn't. I do really appreciate being invited on here, you guys. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I think we had a good time tonight. And on my drive up here, I hadn't been to Newcastle. Well, besides the pool party, I hadn't been up here in quite a while. And actually, I think the last time I was up here, I work for T-Mobile, if you don't know and you're listening, and I sell phones. And the service up here, I came up here a year ago, and I was like, nope, never coming here again. Can't sell anything up here. I get off the interstate and I drop calls. So it was terrible. My entire ride here today worked great. I was on the phone, never had a problem. And
Texting and driving.
Jer, I have 5G here in your studio in Newcastle.
Phenomenal.
Don't tell very many people about that.
Wow. It is night and day difference. It's kind of insane, the amount of money that T-Mobile's put into their network over the past few years. And I'm not here for a sales pitch. I'm just saying it was pretty cool to actually have a working phone here today.
It's been a while.
So
we have beat the hell out of you over the T-Mobile service.
Yeah, you have. So I just had to brag a little bit.
There was a guy on the Joe Rogan Experience recently. Actually, it's Brian Redband. If you know who that is, he's a comedian. And he was saying he has a phone that has dual SIM cards because obviously he's a somewhat famous person. So he needs two phone numbers and he can switch back and forth.
Yep.
One of them's T-Mobile, one of them is Verizon. And he said that Verizon is great for whenever he's like between cities or between towns. But he said T-Mobile was actually really incredible.
Yeah.
The data on T-Mobile is very strong.
I mean,
Very strong.
go to Open Signal. It's AT&T's way down here, and then Verizon and T-Mobile are literally tied across the nation. It's very close. It literally depends on where you live. That's why I just tell everybody, send me a message and I'll send you a free phone to try.
See what happens. D squared, what do we know? You've been promoting the cups this week. You've been in salesman mode.
Yep. Audrey had different new tumblers, so been trying to sell those. She just got a big shipment in. She's going to be making a bunch more. She had two like trial ones, and I sold one. She sold the other, whatever. In one day. They sold out in one day, by the way, which is pretty cool.
What did they say on them?
They didn't say anything.
Taxation is
They
theft.
kind of like the nature looking ones.
Yeah, they have. So they
They had
actually,
flowers on them.
They're real flowers.
Yeah.
It's a real dried flower on the top, and then she covers it in UV resin, UV activated resin, and then places it under UV light to cure really fast, so that the flower doesn't like try to curl up to the epoxy. It is a very complicated process. So I sat and watched her. But anyway, so check those out. I also thought
She hold it down with a glue stick.
No, it would. I don't know if that would do
Hot
anything
glue
to
gun?
the epoxy or not. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. I was just
But-
picturing what a 7-year-old
No, she
would
did
do.
she has a heat
Elmer's.
press for t-shirts. Like she has a real heat press for t-shirts. And what she was doing is she would get them set where she wanted, and then she would take the heat press and stick it on the lid, and that made everything kind of lay flat, and then she could maneuver that resin around very carefully and then get it set. It was pretty neat. But anyway, I have another company that I wanted to give a shout out to, and it is a company that's called Pit Liquor. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. I'm like,
I saw them advertised in the F1 race, Pit Liquor.
really? Oh. Because I was going to be really shocked.
Really?
They're a really small company.
That was Liquor Pits during the USAC race.
USAC.
Good God.
USAC.
But anyway, Pit Liquor, you guys know that I'm really big on like all natural soaps and all natural deodorants. Pit Liquor is a guy who I forget he worked in some chemistry lab for some college. I couldn't remember the college. But anyway, his wife was pregnant. He he was really big on making sure that she was using all natural stuff. She was frustrated that none of the products were working. And they're not a sponsor. I'm not making any money. I just think this is neat. And they came up with the idea together, like, hey, alcohol kills bacteria. Your body odor smells bad because it's the waste of bacteria. If we kill the bacteria, there's no waste. Therefore, you don't smell bad. So they have basically they take like vodka, whiskey, they mix it with a bunch of salt. They also have arrowroot powder in there as an antiperspirant, and then a bunch of different kind of like essential oils to make different smells, and also so you don't smell like
they buy those from single moms.
Distillery.
Yeah.
And
you just roll this on. You paint it on. You paint it on your pits.
They have a spray and they have a roll on.
Have you tried it?
It's been I've actually been using this for like 3 months because I just had to refill. And
this should have been Patreon portion.
I've been using it
I
for
smelled
about
nothing.
3 months. I didn't want to say anything about it before in case
You smelled bad.
in case it doesn't working. And I caught COVID and couldn't smell. But no, it actually really works. And
Really?
I've been super impressed with it. And they sell refill bottles. So you can buy a whole like 70 milliliter mix of this stuff that they say will last you like 13 to 14 months. It's like $70 for 14 months worth of deodorant.
Wow. I had no idea Dakota was a soap head.
Yeah, I am.
So should I cancel my Dr. Squatch?
Dr. Squatch is really expensive, and their soaps don't last that long. You need to switch over to Duke Cannon.
Duke Cannon.
I don't know. There's a lot
You're
of
gonna have
body
to,
people.
He's like a Duke Cannon ambassador.
When I
do make money from Duke Cannon.
When I get back in the do you really? Yeah. Well, when I get back in the coal mine, send me your referral link, and I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell everybody to get your pet spayed and neutered. No, I thought it'd be a good time to be a little preachy about preventative maintenance. I took my Tahoe in this week, and I had to replace my seatbelt because it failed. And sometimes when something goes wrong, you have to fix it. And I made my appointment, and my right wiper blade. I was driving back home from my parents' house on Sunday. My right wiper quit working. I got it fixed the next day. When something goes wrong, Dakota, you just go take care of it. If you got a tire that goes flat, you have to just go ahead and replace it. You take care of it.
I see where this is going.
I knew where it was going the minute he said preventative.
I saw his face. You take if you have a flat tire, you go get your spare replaced. You don't just drive around on it, Gault, for 6 months and then act like it's somebody else's fault when something goes wrong.
My tires are not like your tires. My tires are very expensive.
Yours don't have any air in them.
Oh,
apparently.
you wait. You don't buy truck tires. Truck tires are expensive. He's got some.
I bought $1,200 worth of Tahoe tires in the spring because I had one go flat in March.
You had one tire go flat. You bought $1,200 worth of tires.
I bought 4 new tires because they were past 50%.
What did you do with the 3 good tires?
They were gone. Done. Over.
They're not good.
That doesn't seem efficient.
No, I went up a load rating.
They recycle them.
And they're done. They're gone. And because
recycling?
Because I couldn't get my spare out. No, I paid money to get rid of them. Because I couldn't get my spare off, I had to get a new rim.
$150.
I had to get a new rim and new tire, and I replaced the assembly to drop my spare, so it would never happen.
I had to get a new rim.
I had to send away for Zach's spare tire so that I could function.
I had to get a new rim. I drove an hour and got it off Facebook Marketplace for $30.
Good job.
The only one.
That was so you took control of that situation.
I got a tire too. Just one.
Just one. What spare? Do you have any spare?
Yeah.
All right.
Donut.
That's fine. So yeah, in the course of 4 weeks this spring, I bought a set of tires for my camper, a set of tires for my Terrain, and a set of tires for the Tahoe. In 3 weeks, we bought 4 weeks, about 3 sets of tires.
And you plan for that every year?
No, but they needed done.
You just said tires are expensive.
He just hit a bad luck streak.
I planned on the Terrain and I planned on the camper, and then the Tahoe was that was the last one that happened, and I had no choice.
The only bad thing
split a sidewall.
Your Tahoe and I bet your Tahoe and your camper are going to be on similar tire schedules now.
Probably so.
And that sucks.
The camper tires aren't bad. They're $400. Whatever.
No.
I can camper tires. I'm cool with replacing those preventively. $400. No big deal.
LT truck tires.
The BFGs that the Tahoe rides on, they would be enough to cancel Christmas for a family. They're insane.
Well, if any of your listeners are discount tire salesmen,
Yes.
I'm looking for a deal.
Is that the next time you need tires, look into if you can upsize or downsize the wheels on your car.
Yeah.
19-inch
Into
tires
a normal,
Yeah, you're right.
into a
are the
normal,
worst.
and
I might do
18
that
or a
next
20.
time and just get a set of 18s with a set of wheel or tires and just keep my 19s and have them
You
as
probably
spares.
could find a set of 18s that'll fit off
'cause-
Facebook Marketplace with tires on them, and then just replace the
for
tires.
cheaper than I can get 19-inch tires.
You got redhead
So-
stepchild tires.
They look so good, those wheels, though. I just can't
They're on a
bring it
Chrysler
to take
200.
me off. They look so
You
good.
can never say that.
Oh, okay. I'm
They're on-
posting a picture of my car now on the Boss Hog of Liberty page because it looks good.
Chrysler wheels are good, but yeah, you ditch the 19s.
I'm getting shamed by Danny Lundy. I bought 12 new tires. Things rich people say. That is,
Yeah.
you buy 12 new tires, you're no longer rich. I guarantee that.
I bought tires for my company car, and then for my mobile home, and the truck I tow the mobile home around all summer with. Yeah. Stuff blows up. You got to fix it.
You got it. Listen, things will go a long time if as soon as it goes wrong, you fix it.
RV tires are just
Ever
one of those
since Jer started the podcast, he's forgotten what it's like to be middle class.
Be basic. Dude,
lives
Yeah.
north of Q.
South of
Shames
Q.
me south of Q.
South of Q.
Yeah.
That South of Q life.
He lives in Caucasian estates.
I resemble that. I resemble that remark. All right, that's enough of this. We appreciate you guys very much. Thanks so much to Chris Gault for joining us. We will see y'all next Thursday night with our boy Joey Molinaro, Barstool Sports.